Again, I just want to thank everybody that has come here tonight to listen to us. I also want to specifically recognize my family. My father, my mother, and my brother Bob are here, and they've come all the way from San Diego to...
All the way from San Diego.
A long way. Well, San Diego's a big place, so they don't live 5 miles from here. So anyway, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So I just want to talk about the choice that you all have for mayor in the next 4 years. You know, we've talked a lot about bayfronts, and we've talked a lot about universities, and you know, those are things that are very, very positive for the city of Chula Vista. And we all, I think you've heard, all of us support them. Who is best equipped to deliver that? Who has the leadership? Who wants to provide that aggressive leadership to make those things happen? But in the meantime, who is the individual that you can trust to keep their eye on the ball, to make sure that the neighborhoods don't get forgotten, that when a group of citizens has a problem, again, whether it's in East Lake, Rolling Hills Ranch, San Miguel Ranch, Northwestern or Southwestern, if there's a problem and they want to come to City Hall, who is going to help them? Who is most effective to do that? There's a lot of questions that have to be asked of all of us. And I'm very, very proud. I'm very happy to the fact that the voters of Chula Vista have elected me twice to the City Council. I think I've done my best job. I think I can be a lot more effective as your mayor. And I'm walking and talking to a lot of folks, and I might be able to come by and see you if that just works out that way. And I would love to talk to you specifically. It's very difficult when you're up here because there's specific questions and you got a minute and a half, and everybody has a different perspective on things. But I have some information in the back, and my phone number is there. It's my home phone number, so if anybody wants to talk to me, please do. I'm available, and thank you very much, and support Steve Castaneda on June 8th. Thanks.
I also would like to thank the Northwest Civic Association for allowing me this opportunity to speak with you folks, and to thank you for being here tonight. You know, Steve talks about his qualifications and his having the experience and who you want to elect. And I'm sure Mayor Cox will talk about experience. You know, if experience creates the situation that we're in, maybe you ought to consider voting for this rookie. Now, what is it that these two folks have just avoided like the plague this evening? Has been talking about the realities of this city. The biggest reality is the economic state that we're in. Now, real leaders don't do that. They don't avoid situations. They take responsibility for what they have created. The state of this city is where it's at, and it was created under their watch. And so, you know, bureaucracies defend the status quo long after the quo has lost its status. So this administration has had 6 and 4 years to do something. Come on, folks. How much time are you going to give them? They've had their shot. They missed opportunities to diversify getting revenues with Gaylord, and they failed to go forth and seek opportunities to diversify the revenue base. This has not been good for Chula Vista, but most importantly, it hasn't been good for you because it diminishes your quality of life, as we talked about earlier. So now, the definition of insanity, you've all heard it before, is to keep doing what you've been doing for 6 and 4 and hope that you're going to get something different.
Thank you.
You are, one more thing, I'll be like Mr. Castaneda. You have a choice to make at the polls. Ask yourself, is the city in better shape today than it was 6 and 4 years ago? Personally, my vote is 6 and 4 out the door.
Thank you.
When I first ran for mayor, I was bitter about the notion that our city had at one point $30 million in reserves. And 3.5 2.5 years ago, that had dropped to $10 million in reserves. But enough of talking about what was and start moving on what is. We're back on track. We've turned the corner. This city is going to have a balanced budget this year. We're going to be 14 police officers short. We know that. We're going to have parks that aren't mowed as often as we'd like. We're going to have libraries that aren't open as long as we'd like. But we are back on track and turning the corner to making this back to the city that we wanted it to be. Not one of us is responsible, just as not one of you is responsible for the fall of Wall Street or the crash of Lehman Brothers or the failure of Washington Mutual Bank. Those things happen. It's how we react to those things on a national level, how we react to them on a state level and a local level. I think that under my leadership in the last 3.5 years, we have indeed showed that as Chula Vistans we can pull together. We can take a straightforward look at this budget, and it may not be perfect, but we will not end this year with a $20 million deficit. We're not going to end up with a whole lot more money in the bank, but we'll be a lot better off next year when people can stay in their homes, when they're not uprooted, when our animal care facility is being able to handle the pets that come in that are lost and abandoned, when our nature center can take boys and girls to learn to appreciate what's outside them. We live in a wonderful city. I ask you for your vote on June 8th to continue the work that I started 3.5 years ago so that the administration and the citizens who live in this city over the next several years can take the benefit of good, solid, trustworthy leadership. Thank you again, Northwest Civic, for hosting this forum this evening.